Russia continues to hold a central place in India's defense procurement, even as New Delhi steadily pushes for self-reliance and diversifies its suppliers. The upcoming visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to India, scheduled December 4th to 5th, 2025, has once again brought attention to this long-standing relationship. Officials and analysts see the visit as likely to usher in a new chapter, possibly with more defense accords, including new deals around the advanced S-400 air defense system. Historical legacy and key dependence. India's reliance on Soviet-era, and later Russian, weaponry spans decades. For years, the bulk of India's tanks, fighter jets, helicopters, submarines, and air defense systems were of Soviet or Russian origin. This deep legacy built institutional familiarity and logistical pipelines, from training and spare parts to maintenance and upgrades. Even today, some of India's core defense assets remain Russian. Platforms such as T-90 tanks, Sukhoi series and MiG jets, Kamov helicopters, and various armored vehicles have formed backbone capabilities for the Indian armed forces. The latest data: Russia still number one. According to the latest findings of the respected Swedish think tank Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, Russia remains by far India's largest arms supplier. For the period 2020 to 2024, Russia accounted for 36% of India's arms imports. That figure marks a sharp decline compared with earlier periods. It had been 55% in 2015 to 2019, and as high as 72% in 2010 to 2014. Nevertheless, no other country's share comes close, making Russia still the dominant single source. During 2020 to 2024, India accounted for 8.3% of global arms imports, making it the second largest importer worldwide after Ukraine, underscoring the country's continuing demand for military hardware. Changing dynamics, diversification, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. While Russia remains top supplier, India's dependency is visibly decreasing. Several factors contribute to this shift. India's policy push under Atmanirbhar Bharat has accelerated indigenous defense manufacturing. Over recent years, the country has begun producing light combat aircraft, missiles, small arms, and other hardware domestically, gradually reducing reliance on imports. Besides Russia, India is increasingly sourcing from Western and other global suppliers such as France, United States, and Israel, broadening its arms supply base. The drop from 72% to 36% over roughly a decade marks the first time since the 1960s that Russian origin imports constitute less than half of India's total defense imports. Even with this decline, Russia remains the single largest supplier because India never replaced Russia wholesale. Rather, it added new sources while continuing core maintenance and upgrades via Russian systems. Strategic and practical reasons for continued reliance. Why does India still rely heavily on Russia despite diversification efforts? Much of India's existing defense infrastructure, tanks, aircraft, radars, support systems, is Russian. Maintaining, upgrading, and ensuring interoperability across the forces often means continuing with Russian spares, avionics, munitions, and upgrade packages. Russia continues to pitch high-value systems to India. In recent years, discussions reportedly include fresh orders for the advanced S-400 air defense system, a platform that significantly boosts long-range anti-air capability. With Putin's 2025 visit, there are expectations of renewed contract negotiations for additional S-400 systems, among other deals. India's foreign policy often emphasizes strategic autonomy, not aligning too tightly with any single power bloc. Russian defense partnerships, long-standing and independent of current global tensions, offer New Delhi a trusted and less politically conditional source. This makes Russia a reliable supplier even as India explores Western equipment. What to expect from Putin's 2025 visit? With President Putin arriving in India in early December 2025, analysts expect several outcomes. New and upgraded deals. Negotiations are likely on expanded S-400 supplies, perhaps even partial technology, industry collaboration, or co-production. Reports suggest nearly half of the S-400 support ecosystem could be indigenized in India, aligning with the country's self-reliance drive. Stability in strategic partnership. Despite global pressure on Russian arms exports, especially after its war in Ukraine, India appears determined to maintain defense cooperation, balancing relations between Russia and emerging Western suppliers. A recent Reuters overview noted that Moscow aims to boost both energy and defense exports to India during this visit. While Russian share in imports may continue to shrink slowly, complete transition away from Russian systems is impractical. Maintenance of legacy platforms, ongoing contracts, and the size of India's armed forces make that unlikely. Instead, a hybrid supply model appears to be the path forward. Russian core systems supplemented by Western new-generation platforms and domestic manufacture. Enduring relevance, despite changes. In 2025, more than 6 decades after India began procuring Soviet-era arms, Russia remains the country's top defense supplier. According to SIPRI data, 36% of India's arms imports between 2020 and 2024 came from Russia, far ahead of any other country. Although India is diversifying its supplier base and building domestic production capacity under Atmanirbhar Bharat, the deep legacy of Russian systems, ongoing contract negotiations, like for the S-400, and strategic autonomy considerations mean Russia's role is far from over. President Putin's upcoming visit therefore comes at a crucial moment, likely to reaffirm old ties, sign new accords, and shape how India navigates a changing global defense landscape. For now, Russia remains not just a historic partner, but a present and future cornerstone of India's defense strategy.
Welcome to Money Control, your ultimate destination in the ever-evolving world of finance, business, markets, policy, and technology. India's preeminent news platform, driven by facts and fueled by data. A platform made in India, and for the world. Moneycontrol.com has a staggering reach of 100 million plus monthly active users and 6.02 million daily active users. Being a transformative digital force, reshaping how we engage with money, markets, and news. Setting us apart is our commitment to delivering accurate information and empowering financial decision-making in a dynamic ecosystem. Seeking a deeper dive into the financial realm, we present Money Control Pro, a powerhouse of exclusive insights, providing actionable investment ideas and expert analysis. Because in today's fast-paced world, informed decisions demand both information and expertise. And we have 1 million plus Money Control Pro total paid subscribers and 100% return in 1.5 years, beating the market. Explore market trends, access expert opinions, and utilize essential financial tools all at your fingertips. Join the millions who trust Moneycontrol.com for their financial journey, where facts meet finance and data drives decisions. Think markets, think Money Control.